Howdy folks, Rudros here, and with Azurite C official release just around the corner, I thought it'd be a good time to put out some deck concepts and some deck theories. So unfortunately the holidays have become a very busy time and I have a lot of things to do, not only with real life work, but I also have some outside gigs to do as well. So I haven't been able to get any match footage for a lot of these decks. If I can get any, I will put them on the videos, but otherwise I'm just going to have to talk about them with deck concepts and deck ideas. So just take that for what you will, but unfortunately I can't show it to you, but I at least want to keep bringing you some great content and hopefully have a lot more to put out this set with Azurite C. But again, it's just holidays are a busy time and a lot of stuff ramps up. So hopefully you understand. Anyway, if you haven't already, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. Really makes a difference with the channel, and hopefully in the future will give me more time to just set up pure Lorcana content for this channel or just any TCGs you love. So would be great and greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. So the entire point of this deck, this green-blue combination, is we are going for a turn 4 hand discard. How do we do that? We have this brand new card, Bend to My Will. I'll go ahead and show them off here. So Bend to My Will says each opponent discards all the cards in their hand, right? It's a 7-cost uninkable. Now, I don't think this card fits in Emerald Steel very well, because that deck usually has a good job of getting your hand empty far before turn 7. So it frankly just doesn't need this card. It already does that very well. So in order for this card to actually be worth using, I think you need to get it out as early as possible. Well, with a little help from our blue-green friends, you can make them dump their entire hand on turn 4, which is absolutely bonkers. How do you do that? Let's look at the crucial steps. So there are three turns that are crucial, which is turn 2, 3, and 4. So the cards you must have are, luckily the 1-drop slot doesn't matter as much. You can technically skip turn 1 just as long as you can ink a card. But for turn 2, you need one of the ways to ramp in this deck, which is either 4 copies of Tipo or 4 copies of Sail the Azurite Sea. So on your turn 2, you must play one of these cards, get a 3rd card into your inkwell, so that on turn 4, on your 3rd turn, you can go up to 4 ink. So it's crucial you have one of these two. You could put more you could put in something like 1 jump ahead if you want an even higher chance to see the ramp card, but you need the entire combo anyway. So like if you see all the pieces of the combo, but you can't find the Bend to My Will, it doesn't even matter. So those are your ramp options. So for turn 2, Sail the Azurite Sea, Tipo, get to 3 ink. Start of your 3rd turn, you ink naturally, so now you're on 4 ink due to your ramp, and you need to put out either Iago or the Starlight Vial, which is an item. And these both will essentially facilitate the same thing, which is reducing our next action. So Starlight Vial is a repeatable effect. You can pay 2 less for the next action you would play on this turn. It also has its trap effect, which isn't really amazing, but it's here for this first effect. And Iago essentially does the same thing. Iago is a 4-cost inkable. Whenever he quests, you pay 2 less for the next action you play this turn. So this is your 3rd turn. You have 4 ink. You put one of these out, right? Then on your 4th turn, you ink again. You're on 5 ink. You either quest with the Iago, which will reduce the next action by 2, or you quest with, or you use the Starlight Vials effect, same thing, 2 less for the next action, which means off of 5 ink, your Bend to My Will now costs 5. You cast that on your 4th turn, boom, your opponent's entire hand is gone. Especially if you've gone first, it means they had 3 turns to play, and their entire hand is already gone. Imagine doing that to a red-blue deck. They do something similar. They go Popsicle, Tipo Ramp, Flaversham on 3, draw all these cards, and you just take their entire hand from them. Absolutely bonkers. I'm not saying this is going to be super competitively viable. I think green steel discard will overall be more consistent, because again, this is quite a few pieces. You need that ramp on 2, and then you need one of those 2 cards to reduce the Bend to My Will. Then you need the Bend to My Will yourself. But that is the combo. That is how you can make your opponents quite miserable by taking away their entire hand as early as turn 4. So again, turn 1 doesn't really matter. You can do your standard Popsicle, maybe this Clarabelle, maybe this Basil. Turn 2 is some form of ramp. You could throw in 1 jump ahead if you prefer that. But you want either the Tipo or the Sail the Azurite Sea. And then turn 3 is either the Starlight Vial or the Iago. If you have to wait till turn 3 to do something like Fishbone Quill, you're just delaying everything a turn, which means you can't get the Iago or the Starlight on the next turn, and then you have to wait one more turn to do the Bend to My Will. So that's the combo. That is your turn 4 discard. What do we build around it? Because you still, okay, we got other cards you have to fill the deck in, right? I opted to cut the Diablo package as it's not really what you want to be gunning for in this specific deck. You could obviously give up on the turn 4 if you wanted and go more into like traditional 1-drop Diablo, shift Diablo, etc. But the whole point is just to go for that combo. So we do still have some Clarabelle. Is there a bit of anti-synergy with the turn 4 discard? Yes, I think there is. However, if you cannot find a continued way of discarding, if you notice, our only real continued way of discarding is either additional Bend to My Wills or the Basil card, which is why we also have the 1-drop Basil, so you can shift into this one. But if you can't find those, it's very possible your opponent can start to recover their hand, and that's where Clarabelle is very nice. I also just think if you're playing against a deck that has no hand, a normal Clarabelle is fine. She's a big statted body. They can't really get rid of her with most removal. She quests for 2. And any cards they do have in hand, you're just going to recoup. But if you really think you can go in on the discard, you could cut the Clarabelle and go in on a different line. Maybe you still go in on the Diablo line. Maybe something else entirely. Spot removal is always key in case things don't go to plan, and they're not going to go to plan all the time. You're not always going to be able to find this opening combo. And I guess that's another good time for Clarabelle. Yes, she isn't really going to work with the combo so well, but if you can't find the combo, having Clarabelle to shift is always another really good thing. So Hades for our spot removal. Same with Let It Go. Just says, hey, get rid of it. Whatever it is, get it off the board. And then I'm trying the new Gogo Tomogo. I don't know how good she is here. She is at least an answered enemy Diablo. We don't have any damaging effects like in Steel, so you can't force the damage for her other than when you challenge. Let me switch the view so it's a little simpler. But I just wanted to try her. Again, I think this is a pretty flexible slot. You could kind of cut it as you see fit. Ursula is just good protection. You could up this up to 4 if you wanted more of that. Although, again, the point is you're not trying to go like, oh, here's 1, Ursula on 2, this on 3. You're trying to go for that combo. But when things don't work out, this is nice. This Clarabelle is just more card draw. Lets you shift onto the big one. Iago, I mean, he's evasive, so he can at least hit a Diablo. Other than that, he's mainly in here for the combo. Keep in mind, though, it does say all actions. So even if you can't get the combo, and let's say you find another Azurite Sea, it's completely free. Azurite Sea just becomes free. Let It Go becomes 3, which is quite nice. So he's not entirely worthless, but you could probably just ink him if you don't get the combo. Flaversham Popsicle package for card draw. Wasabi, I don't know how to feel about this. What I kind of like is that because you can banish your own items and gain lore, once you've used the Starlight Vial to get off the combo, now it's going to mainly just sit there, so you can either use its trap effect to try to dig a little deeper, or you can use something like Wasabi to banish it just to get a little extra lore. Also, obviously, banishes opponent's items. That's very nice. Basil. So this card is a new scary threat, and with your ramp abilities, you can use something like Ink Return, pay 1, make them discard, Fishbone Quill, pay 1, make them discard. He's got a solid stat line, too. Has a good lore pressure. If you can't find the combo, shifting into him on 4, especially if you got a Fishbone Quill out earlier, and then you can immediately trigger his effect, means you're going to put on a lot of discard pressure that way. So I do like Basil for that. Everyone knows Let It Go, removal items. Sail the Azurite Sea is just good ramp, and it's inkable itself, although I'd imagine you probably always want to cast that card. Popsicle, Standard Draw Engine, Fishbone Quill. These are some items. Lucky Dime will help you close out a game too, so that when you're getting to that late game, you can just start tagging your Hades, your Clarabelles, your Basils. Just start getting that extra lore, which makes a huge difference. And finally, I actually think McDuck Manor fits really well here. If their hand is empty, they're probably not going to be able to answer either any of your character threats, but also a location on top of that. So the Manor just sitting there powering up your lore, and it's so difficult for them to send enough cards at it to beat it by challenging. So that's the deck. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Again, this is really more for the memes and the fun. Maybe it will end up being more competitive than I anticipate if you can consistently see this combo. So you'll need to see, let's see, you'll essentially need to see 3 cards, right? One of the 2 ramp, one of the 2 cost reductions, and then the Bend to My Will. And then luckily you have a little leeway because you have 2 versions of the cost reduction, 2 versions of the ramp you could find. But if you can find those, feel free to make your opponents miserable and then tell them, sorry, not sorry. I didn't make the cards. I'm just playing the game. So that's the list. Take it if you, I guess, despise your opponents at your locals, try to make them miserable. Otherwise, just enjoy it for what it is. So look forward to more Azurite Sea deck theories and ideas coming out in the very near future. Got a lot of concepts and things I definitely want to explore. Going to make some pirates lists, some location lists, and see just how good any of that stuff is. You know, one thing on this channel I do want to make clear is that I'm never going to lie to you. I'm never going to pretend something is what it isn't. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, you could take this to a DLC or Nationals and you're going to win with it. Like, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not sure how consistent it is. The whole point is to just explore fun concepts and ideas. So I hope you enjoy that. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it so much, and I hope you have a great day. Look forward to more Lorcana content coming out in the very near future. Until next time, take care.